Hi everyone. This week's requested topic for a video was root cause maps. And so we are working on root cause analysis now, and root cause maps are a great tool when doing root cause analysis because you start with your problem and then you map backwards to your cause or causes. And so you can figure out, okay, what started this entire chain of events that got me to the result that I did not like? And a root cause map can help you figure that out. We do have a handout on Blackboard that shows a very detailed root cause map, but you can make very simple maps that look more like block diagrams. Now keep in mind that they are not block diagrams. Block diagrams, and you're talking to an engineer here, so I have a very specific definition of a block diagram. And that shows a process from start on the left to finish on the right. You may have to sneak it around a couple of times, but it's a process, not something else. Now, a root cause map also goes from left to right because that's how we read English. And so it's set up like that because it's our natural reading movement. But it looks at our problem and then goes to our causes. So there's a key difference there. It has nothing to do with the process or anything like that. So that's the first thing with root cause maps. Second thing is that you can incorporate the 5 whys to get your causes out, and that's a really great start to it. But you also had to ask yourself, okay, what happened? What had to have happened to cause this particular event? Okay, now we know that happened. What had to have happened to cause that thing to have happened? So you have to keep asking yourself questions. Why did this happen? What had to have happened to have this happen in the first place? And this is all easier to demonstrate with a practical example. So I will take the practical example of my cat, Denali. And here he is. He's sitting in my suitcase ready to go. Unfortunately, I wish it was this easy to get him into his carrier, because in 2015 we had to take him to the WSU Vet Hospital. They have a fantastic 24-hour vet care hospital there. He was sick, and we had to go out of town for Christmas, and we needed to get him care right then. So we took him to WSU Vet Hospital because we really didn't have any other options. We were leaving the next morning, and he was pretty sick. He is FIV positive, and that is the cat version of HIV. So he has a compromised immune system, and if he gets a cold, he can get really sick if we don't get him taken care of. So he was sick. He was running a fever, he had stopped eating and drinking. He was just a very unhappy little kitty that wanted to sleep on us all day because we were nice and warm. He was a lot warmer. So he wasn't getting better, and we knew we had to leave. So we ended up taking him to that WSU Vet Hospital. They plugged an IV into him, got him some fluids, and he is completely better. He started getting better that day, and so when we came back, we had a healthy kitty, which was great, except we also had a $1,500 vet bill, which was not great. So let's take a look at the root cause map for why we have this particular vet bill. So we'll do that, and you can do this with whatever tools you want, but PowerPoint and Microsoft Office in general has these nice little SmartArt graphics, and I'm going to do this using the SmartArt hierarchy horizontal graphic. So what you can't see as I'm going to put this together is the little text box right here. I have it off screen, so I can type in this text box what goes into the text box, and it will auto-populate in the text box for me. So our main problem here is that we have a WSU vet hospital bill. All right. So why do we have that problem? Well, we need to add some causes. Our first cause is that Denali was not getting better, and we needed to get him some care. All right. So why was he not getting better? Let's explore that. So we'll make another box, and I'm going to indent it so it's actually under this box. So I'm in the SmartArt text pane right now. Well, he was not getting better because he was not eating or drinking, and probably his FIV had something to do with it with his compromised immune system. So we could stop at FIV. We know he has it. It's a cause. We can't really go back any further. But the reason he wasn't eating or drinking is worth exploring. And the reason he wasn't eating or drinking was because he had a fever and he was not feeling good. So he didn't want to eat or drink. And so as we go forward, there we go to the vet hospital bill. So if we go along this little chain here, the initial issue we had that led us to this vet hospital bill was the fever. And that cascaded forward through these causal chains to the vet hospital bill. But just because he wasn't getting better was not the only reason we took him to the WSU vet hospital. We have our own vet, which is a lot less expensive. But there were other reasons we had to take him to the vet hospital. So let's explore those. So I'm going to add another box, shift it up, because we have other reasons. So we needed some kind of resolution to our problem because we were going out of town. All right, so there is that particular cause, and we really don't need to back up any further in that cause. We just needed a resolution. That was the cause. That was one of the causes that had us take him to the WSU vet hospital. Another cause for taking him to the WSU vet hospital is that we couldn't take him to our regular vet. All right, so what happened that we couldn't take him to our regular vet? Why was that? Well, that was because our regular vet was closed for the weekend. They are not open on weekends, unfortunately. And so that is why we couldn't take him to the regular vet, and we ended up taking him to WSU instead. So here, overall, from our little story, is the causal map for why we had to take Denali to the WSU vet hospital and why we got a huge bill out of that. So you can see these causal links. You have to go through the link to get to the next step. So if we could have broken any one of these links, we probably could have stopped the end event from happening. So if we had just basically forced him to eat or drink when he had that fever, we have a little syringe, one of those little kitty syringes that you can give him medicine. If we just squirted water down his throat a couple of times a day, we may have been able to get enough fluids into him that he started feeling better because he was getting dehydrated from the fever. So we could have been able to break this link, and therefore we wouldn't go through this chain to the vet hospital. If our regular vet had been open, we would have broken this link because we could have taken him to the regular vet, and so we wouldn't have had to go to the WSU hospital. So some of these links are breakable, some of them are really not. So for example, we really can't break the link between FIV and not getting better because there's no cure for FIV. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just a condition he has. So this isn't a breakable link. Unfortunately, this link wasn't breakable either. We had to go out of town. We were going out of town for Christmas. We needed to see our families. They were expecting to see us. We had plane tickets that were probably equivalent to the cost of the vet bill because we were going cross country with 2 people. We had hotel reservations. All that was set up. We just had to take care of our little kitty before we went out of town. So this isn't really a breakable link. But we do have breakable links here. You know, if he'd gotten better, we wouldn't have to take him to the hospital. If we could take him to the vet, we wouldn't have to take him to the hospital. So as you're making these causal maps, go through and think about what links are really breakable here, what are easy to break, and what links are really difficult to break or unbreakable. So as soon as one event happens, the other one is going to happen. So this is a great tool for figuring out why things happen. It's a great tool for figuring out the easiest ways to stop events from happening. Think about using it for your course projects if that's applicable, especially as you're going through the improve phase. This may be great for troubleshooting. You can figure out what links are easy to break and which ones aren't. As always, any questions, feel free to contact me.